Let's see if we can tame this jumble of bones we call the hand. We'll start with the index finger here, middle mouse click to select it, we'll zoom in. Here's what I want to do. I can rotate this finger on heading and pitch just fine, but I have no use for bank. As you can see, bank just twists my finger and I really never keyframe that much. But I don't want to keyframe these other two joints, so I'm hoping to recruit bank channel to pitch both of these joints when I want to curl the finger. Here's how we do it in expressions. Let's create a new variable. We're going to name this one index curl R. While bank is highlighted, right click on the buffer button here down at the bottom to add it to the expressions field. Let's click on the next joint. We'll make sure pitch is highlighted. We're going to add it as a channel to the expression. Do the same thing for the last joint. Make sure pitch is highlighted. Add it as a channel. We'll change the channel modifiers here to additive so they add on top of whatever we're doing here on bank. So when we rotate bank, you'll see the fingers start to curl. But I don't want bank to curl with them. Here's where the fun part comes in. You can add a channel back on top of a joint that's already been added as an expression down here at the bottom. Sounds a bit confusing, but let's see. While bank is selected, let's add it as a channel on top of itself here, but we'll change its channel modifier to subtractive, to negative, so that it cancels itself out. So if it's rotating 40 degrees, the channel here reads -40 and it puts it back into the bone, canceling out the bank. But the other two joints can pitch just fine. Heading and pitch on the first joint work beautifully. Let's do this treatment to the next three joints. Let's middle mouse click on the middle joint here, the middle finger. Let's create a new variable. Call this one middle curl R. Highlight bank. Let's right click on the buffer button here to add it to the expressions field. Middle mouse click and select the next joint. Make sure pitch is highlighted and add it as a channel here in the channels block. Do the same thing to the last joint. Highlight pitch, add it as a channel. We'll change the channel modifier to additive. We'll middle mouse click on the first joint again, make sure bank is highlighted, and add itself as a channel. Change its channel modifier to negative so it cancels itself out. But the other two can still curl. Heading and pitch, just great. Same thing with the pinky. Make a new variable, call this one pinky curl R. Highlight bank. Let's right click on the buffer button here to add it to the expressions field. Middle mouse click on the second joint. Make sure pitch is highlighted. Add that as a channel. Do the same thing to the last joint. Highlight pitch. Add it as a channel. Change the channel modifiers to additive. Click back on the first one and add the bank as a channel. But change its channel modifier to negative so it cancels itself out. And pitch and heading still work. Thumb is done exactly the same way, but it's just -1 joint. So we'll middle mouse click on thumb R here, create a new variable, call it thumb curl R. Highlight bank, right click on the buffer button down here to add it to the expressions field. Middle mouse click on the next joint, make sure pitch is highlighted, add that as a channel. Change the channel modifier to additive. Let's go back to the first joint, make sure bank is highlighted, add itself as a channel, change its channel modifier to negative so it cancels itself out, so only the tip goes. Heading and pitch work just great. So now we've reduced this by 9 channels, so we don't have to animate any of these other joints, we just have to animate the first one. Pitch it forward and use bank to curl. Much faster, much easier. One last thing we got to do. Let's change all of these flags here, these blue flags, to after IK. Don't ask me why, but it makes it perform much better. Let's click into the File tab, go to File, Save Scene As. We're going to save this one as BodyH.fxs.